So yeah, moving on from ARMS then, we had a lot of Splatoon, not really a lot of Splatoon, but some weird Splatoon stuff going on where they did this VHS thing, and it was like, oh, the way they talk about Splatoon is all this fucking research lab shit, and there was a stream of Splatoon 2 where the Treehouse people were dressed up in lab coats and shit. Like, they just go fucking all in with Splatoon, like, when it comes to representing it in this way. It's like, oh, we did this research on these squids, and we discovered this, and look at this footage we found. It's very, very in-universe. I think they very much like doing that in-universe stuff. But the core of the Splatoon stuff was, we have a Horde mode in Splatoon. And I think this is the first time where I've been like, okay, they're distinguishing it from Splatoon 1. Like, this is a brand new mode. It's very similar to a lot of other video games done in the past, but it's the first time Splatoon has kind of given this a shot, and it looks pretty interesting. I am someone who has never been super into Horde modes, probably because I've never really had that many people to play them with, so I've never really gone down that road. I think a Horde mode is very predicated on having a group of friends communicating with one another and, you know, being online together, and that just hasn't occurred with some other games I've been playing. So this one definitely seems like, okay, me and you could get in on this, we could get a couple listeners in, some people we know, and have a good time just taking on groups of enemies at once. How do you feel about the salmon run mode is what they're calling it?
Yeah, salmon run. I love it. I love the idea. I having not played many shooters, the few I have played, I do enjoy some sort of Horde mode, and sort of I played a bit of Battlefront last summer, and it was quite fun just sort of facing down waves of stormtroopers and things like that, and I like the idea of a Horde mode in itself. What I particularly liked with Splatoon 2 and what they showed of this Horde mode salmon run is that it just fits thematically in with everything they're going for. So the whole point is that Inkopolis is like the city, which is the central area that you're spending most of your time in. But this is sort of like on the outskirts of town, where everything's a bit dodgier, a bit darker, a bit more unusual, and everything's darker coloured. And these salmon are kind of coming out of the water and marching towards your central bases. And I love the idea that sort of in the first game, you're playing as squids, but the enemies are all like octopuses or octopi. And now they needed like a new enemy for this game, and they've decided to go with salmon, and all of a sudden it's like these what's the word you use to describe something being human,
Anthropomorphized.
It's like anthropomorphized salmon, exactly. So I think it's like a nice thematic thing to go for, and I think what is important to work out and will kind of equate to how much time we spend in this mode is what the reward is. So they basically told you that you will collect these orbs or bubbles or something. I can't remember quite what they're called, but they said you will spend those orbs or bubbles on something later, and it'll be interesting to see what that equates to, because
right, so there's this carrot on the stick essentially. It's like, you're not just doing this for the sake of saying I got 50 waves in a row. Like, there's going to be material reward for you doing that, which I think is important.
Yeah, and like it all looked really good, like the design, the structure, the fact that like you defeat them, they drop these bubbles, whatever, and then you have to deliver those bubbles back to your base.
Absolutely. So I'm looking forward to playing some of that with you when it comes out. Definitely feeling better about buying Splatoon 2 with some new stuff coming with it, and still interested in that single player. And I think they kind of hinted at, hey, there's single player stuff we're going to talk about later at the end of that. So look forward to that. And I think you made a good point about the enemies being differentiated. I think that's something that it's one of those things I think is probably the weakest aspect of Breath of the Wild is enemy variety, right? Like you fight these enemies and they're just palette swaps of other ones across the world.
Good point, yeah.
And I think that the switch from the Octolings to, hey, this is completely new thing you're going up against, it like materially it doesn't make a difference because you're still killing things, you're still taking things down, but from an aesthetic point of view, it freshens it up, which, you know, hey, Splatoon, so of course it's always going to be fresh.
Fresh.
If you enjoyed this discussion and would like to hear more, consider subscribing to us on YouTube and following the podcast playlist. You can also find us on iTunes and various other places. Follow us on Twitter at TNL Podcast and email us thisnintendolife@gmail.com. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.